Hi, this is Joseph. It is Thursday. It's July 2nd. We're looking at the daily time frame. So I like to begin reviewing the futures. For those of you who have been following my trading system for a while, you're aware that I trade futures at the same time I trade currencies, different currencies. So we're looking at the euro futures. These are futures contracts that are officially traded. It's not the MetaTrader platform, which gives me a lot more information, in my opinion. It's much more comfortable to read. When things start to turn, maybe when we make new highs, new lows, reversals, breakouts, things like that. And obviously, we're looking at volume, a few other indicators that I use. But I like to start off here with the daily. I'm also looking at the weekly and the monthly. But the daily time frames here, it's going to give me a better sense of direction. For the most part, though, we continue to see things moving sideways. We will take a look at the MT4 platform and the euro dollar in just a moment. But for the most part, things are starting to come to a really tight range. And over the last week and a half or so, I've been talking about this particular range right here where I'm moving my cursor. This goes back to, let's see, that is June 22nd. So things started to move sideways at that point. I mentioned that it looked like it was likely to start filling out and start moving sideways. And I continue to expect that it will probably do that, continue to move in the same manner, mostly sideways, mostly consolidation through Friday. Again, Saturday is a major holiday here in the United States. Tomorrow is also a bank holiday in the United States, but I am going to try and trade it. It doesn't necessarily guarantee just because I show up, of course, that I'm going to find a trade. If volume levels dry up and there's just not a lot of participation, there might be an opportunity during the London session. Sometimes, when the U.S. market's closed, sometimes there is a move in the FX during the New York session. But you can't always guarantee that that's going to happen. It changes year by year, obviously, from one holiday to the next. So again, the fact that I'm going to be trying to trade a little bit later into the New York session on Friday does not necessarily guarantee that I'm going to have a trade. I'm just going to be looking. And just another reminder that if you see price moving in a really small range, let's say 40, 45 pips from the high to the low for the entire day on one particular pair, let's say it's the euro dollar or the pound dollar, then I'm probably not going to get too many opportunities, because really the only way that we're going to make money is when price moves, and we need that volume, we need that momentum, we need that participation in order for it to cover a specific distance. And without it, it's just going to continue to move sideways, and it's just going to be pretty choppy. So again, I can't guarantee that I'm going to have too many trades, but I will be looking for opportunities. So again, at the end of the day, looking at the Euro futures, I would expect things are probably going to go a little bit sideways here. You can see how things are sort of drying up as far as volume levels as well. Let's take a look at the I'm going to avoid the dollar yen for the moment, or the yen futures, but let's take a look at the pound dollar. The pound dollar has a little more activity in it, a little more volume, in my opinion. There was much better structure over the last couple of days, and there were some really good moves to the upside on this trade. So at the beginning of the week, I sent out the weekend analysis. We were talking about this range right here. So here we have Thursday's close, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. And when the market was open for trading, I was talking about this particular channel, and that I felt that at the time it looked like a slightly bullish candle. But I thought that it was probably going to make one more move to the downside before then moving back up, which is pretty common. When you see some kind of a downtrend and it's going to create a reversal, of course, this is, at this point, looks pretty temporary. We're still moving sideways inside of this consolidation range. But it did exactly what I expected. And it's not so much that I'm trying to point out that I called it. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to say is that the fact that it's moving in a manner that I understand, and that it makes sense to me, and it's moving as I expected, it means that I can continue to try and look for opportunities that I would normally trade. Things are still moving in a similar manner that I expected it from the beginning of the week, and so this morning it actually gave me an opportunity to watch where price settled, and I was able to take two trades. The first one, when I tried to short it, it didn't move down as fast as I thought it was going to move down. I thought it was going to move down a little bit quicker, so I closed that trade out quickly with a small gain. And then I waited for non-farm payrolls. So non-farm payrolls was another reaction, just waiting for it. You get that reaction where it goes up and down. People are, just jumping in and out. A lot of inexperienced traders are trying to scalp. It can get pretty messy, but I just waited. I waited until things settled. It took about an hour, hour and a half or so, and then I was able to short it. And the short was a really good opportunity, and that provided a much better trade, bigger trade opportunity there. And at that point, then I was done. I didn't hold on to the trade indefinitely, so I was able to lock in profits before the end of the New York session. And right now, at the end of the day, with what I see here, I'm thinking that either way is likely. I mean, I could expect to see another move back down to this moving average here. This is a 5-day moving average, which isn't very far away from where it is now. And then at that point, I'm thinking that it's likely to go sideways. If volume is really, really light, it looks like it's dried up quite a bit. If people are going on vacation and trying to get that 3-day weekend thing, ahead of time, it's not necessarily a 3-day weekend, but if you include tomorrow being a bank holiday, then it is a 3-day weekend, and people are going to leave town a lot earlier, and things really start to move sideways. And that's a big concern of mine, because I really don't want to be in a position where I'm holding a trade through the weekend. Every once in a while, I will get stuck holding a position through the weekend, and it's not something that I do deliberately. Sometimes it looks like there's a lot of volume, it looks like there's a lot of participation. Every once in a while, it sort of sneaks by, and you can't really tell how far. I might hold on to a trade just a little bit too long, even if I'm looking for 17 or 20 pips or something, and then it just goes sideways, and I've got to continue to manage the trade through the weekend. But I would rather avoid that at all costs. So again, I will probably cut out early on Friday, approximately 8, 9 o'clock California time, which would be 11 or 12 o'clock New York time. That's about the time I'm probably going to stop trading. And if I'm in a position at that point, whatever profitability I've got, I'm just going to lock it in and reset, for the following week, and then we'll just come back in on Monday and look for more opportunities. So now let's take a quick look at the euro dollar. This is MetaTrader, and you can see for the most part pretty much the same price action that I was looking at with the euro futures. Basically the same thing, but I have much more detail and information when I'm trading the other. So again, there's nothing different that would, where I would expect anything other than what I see likely to happen on Friday. Just more sideways, more consolidation, perhaps smaller trading ranges. And then I'm going to go over here to the pound dollar, and basically the same thing. One key thing that I want to be aware of, and I talked about this last night, was that price is sitting here or moving around this March 27th high. And that March 27th high was pretty important. I've been talking about it since it developed, and you can see that the few days after it printed that high, it really did a good job at holding this resistance. It really solidified this resistance level. And then it had an impact here a few times. This is going back to, let me get that date right there. That's the beginning of May. And then, of course, we're looking at price just yesterday and today, or actually I should say Thursday. It did move up, it topped out and pulled right back down. And so far, all of these candles this week have held below this resistance point. And that could be some kind of an indication. I'm going to continue to watch it. It might be, it may not. Maybe Monday it'll turn around and go back up a little bit higher. And then I would start watching this level here, which is the April 14th high. That might have some kind of an impact. You can see how it solidified that range there. Again, a few weeks later, that was the April 30th retest. So there's a few different things going on, but for the most part, I think it continues to be sideways, which is a good thing to be aware of, because it's going to tell me or remind me that I really need to be specific about trading opportunities. That I'm not going to get, obviously, trending moves that are going to happen. We had that earlier in the week with the pound dollar, as you can see, but it's not happening. It didn't happen today. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow. Things are slowing down. And again, we only get so many days out of the month where we're going to see this kind of trending activity. Maybe next week it'll pick back up again. And like I said, it might flip right above this resistance and then continue to move higher, or continue to travel sideways. Either way, if it holds and starts to move back down, one way or the other, maybe I'll get a 2 to 3 day sort of rally, and similar to what we see over here in the last few days. And that might provide better opportunities. But I'm going to be really careful with it. They may be really short and limited trades on Friday, considering the holiday as well. But again, just notice the consolidation. It's still moving sideways. We've got that March 27th high, the pullback in the low there, April 6th. And from that point on, for the most part, things have just kind of moved sideways. Okay, so tomorrow on Friday, I don't send out end of day updates just because it's the end of the week. and then I wait until Sunday, and then I put together a weekend analysis, and then I set up, what happened on Friday and what I could expect perhaps when the market opens for trading, and then maybe some opportunities that might develop next week. So I'll send out the next update. Again, tomorrow's Friday. I won't be sending out another update on Friday night. We take Friday and Saturday off, but I will be sending out the next update, which is the weekend analysis. You'll get that through your email on Sunday.